Welcome back to another episode of Hermitcraft, and I hope you're prepared to have a fun time today, because that's exactly what we are going to be having. Boy oh boy am I excited to get on here and record today, and flying around, checking out the view from above. Our base is looking pretty epic right now, wouldn't you agree? It's got such a long way to go though, and I am so keen to get working on the second tier of our base, because this is the first tier. There's going to be one above it, and then there's going to be many more below it as well. And if you saw the last episode, I was hanging out with Mumbo Jumbo, and I didn't really talk about some of the things you may have noticed have changed around here. So I've taken the stone bricks from one side, kind of extended it around, put in some more of these pillars, just so we can get a feel for the theme as we start to expand this area over here. And speaking of this thing, we need loads and loads of shulker shells. Oh yes we do. And don't you worry about it, I've been in the end, finding shulkers, taking on the End City dungeons, and getting myself tons of epic loot. Check this out. That is pretty fancy. 3 stacks of shulker shells and a bit. Don't mind if I do. And then we got this thing, the shulker skull. Now, gotta say it, this one, probably the most disappointing of all. I look a little bit silly, don't I? It's not my favourite. And you may have noticed I don't have my shield on me. I got a comment saying, Asuma, why do you always have your shield on you when you're in your mushroom biome? There's no baddies that you need to use the shield to protect yourself from. And I went, yep, I'm a derp. And we've now got a derp counter. Geez, that one might have to go in there, I tell you. That might be the first one that we add, because that is a little bit foolish to be wandering around here. Now, what I want to do is put that shulker shell on the wall, but I don't think there's a free space. Okay, grabbed a few extra blocks, gonna slap this down here. This is still temporary, and it might be this episode that we actually get to move these to their permanent location. My plan is to build a ring of grass around the top. We'll talk about that in a moment. Right now I've noticed the sun is setting, so I'm going to go jump in the bed and make it day again. Rise and shine, I say. Rise and shine. I've been having dreams about cactuses. That's because I spent some time punching these down while I was waiting for the sun to go down. Do you know what? I really wish I'd have automated this. It's ever so simple to automate it. And for the amount of time it's been sitting here, we probably would have got more cactus than we'd ever need. But we are going to need some cactus in this episode, because that green ring that we got up the top there, that's made out of grass. And I was thinking, do you know what? We probably want to mix it up with a little bit of that lime powder and maybe some of the green powder as well. I'm sure one of those will look really good next to the grass that we got up the top. But before we get to that, just want to come over here and check out the loot that we've got. And also mention that I made a tutorial on the fishing farm. So, card on the top right of your screen. If you want to know how to build this amazing farm right here, I've made a tutorial for you. So you can go check that out. And if we head into this area, you're going to see, goodness me, chests upon chests of loot. I never get bored of this site. I never get bored of it at all. And look at that, mending. Oh, I'll take that one then. That's all right. And over here, check it out. Some decent loot been organised for us. Don't mind if I do. I'll take that as well. Some of you pointed out, though, Asuma, you're a bit of a dum-dum. When you activate this thing here, all of the items that are in the hoppers at the backs are going to get filtered out and destroyed. And that's true, except we can actually access those from back here. It's a flaw of the design. I don't think there's really a way around that, but we can actually get to all of the hoppers. It's a little bit finicky, but that way we can collect all the loot. So I ain't bothered about that. Anyway, I'm going to sort out all of these chests, pick out some more mending books if I'm lucky enough, and then we'll crack on with that circle. All of my sorting is done, and we filled up the Unbreaking free chest, and a couple of others have come very close, and I'm looking forward to that point where most of these are filled up and we can just focus on the rarer enchantments. But it is so great just to open these chests and have a stock of things available. Really, really cool stuff. Now we're going to hit the switch over here, and we're going to enjoy watching some items burn, aren't we? There they go. We're going to come back and make a little modification to this redstone over here that I think you're going to like. It's going to allow the system to be powered by a button, but we'll do that later on. It's actually pretty cool watching all the stuff drop out now that it's not a test, and I guess I'm going to leave that running for now. Anyway, let's head out here. I have been doing a little bit of circle construction, and I tell you what, this was really easy to do, okay? I used a circle generator. I will give you a link to it in the description box, and in a moment I'm going to put a screenshot on the screen. Now, if you've ever made a circle in Minecraft and used a circle generator, sometimes it gives you those lines where you get 2 blocks next to each other, and I've always not liked those, but then I realised, hang on a second, that's perfect for doing this with stairs. So we've got one circle on that side and another one over here, And this one to me looks a little bit naff, so I decided to make what we have a little bit bigger, and now those little corner areas there just line up so much nicer. Anyway, let's hop up my temporary ladder. This thing is awful, man. I built this when I was hanging out with Mumbo. I need to get a better ladder up to the top than this. So originally, this circle was going to be a lot further over, but I felt like it overhanging this middle area would take away from it a little bit, so decided to push it back. So this thing comes out about 25 blocks, I think, and I started off with one circle over here, didn't like the shape, pushed it back another block, and then it all looked good. So I'm going to put the image on the screen right now, the shape that I've made. Okay, take it in, and now we're going to come back to the game. So it was really easy to do, because all you got to do is count the line across going downwards one at a time. So you start off with 5, then it's 4, 4, 3, 2, like that, then it's 3, and when you get to the diagonal bit, I just counted diagonals, which were 5 in total, and then you swap and you go the other way, so it's 3, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, like that, and then you just put all the blocks in, and it's perfect. It literally took me about 5 minutes to do. So I'm going to rip out this side over here. We're not going to go with this one ain't so great, and we're going to build that going around the entire thing. Not only do we have the one circle, but we now have a second circle as well. And I very nearly decided to tear this all down and build it a few blocks higher, and I'm wondering if I should have done that or not, but let me show you this from up in the sky. Oh, that's going to look cool, isn't it? That's going to nest nicely into this area. So the next step is to fill it all with grass. And down there you can see I've got a grass farm going. But here's the reason why I was thinking about moving it up. It literally just sits one block above those hoppers. Now that's actually fine, but what worries me is that there's always that need to move something about, and I don't think this is going anywhere, but that's kind of just cautious in my mind. Now the other place it caused a slight problem was over on the corner here, and I was considering building this up higher to dodge that thing, but then I decided let's just build this curve anyway and see where it goes, and it actually comes right across the front, and I only needed to change 2 blocks, and they're those slabs right there, you see? And so I went and done that on all the corners, and it looks slightly different down the bottom here, and you'd probably never notice if I'd never have mentioned it. So yeah, it's a close fit, but we're going to go ahead with it and see how we fare. And I just want to say quickly, did you enjoy the last episode with Mumbo, which was over an hour? Now I'm asking specifically if you liked it because it was an hour long. I'm going to put a poll on the screen. So the question is, do you like the long collaboration videos with Mumbo? Because when me and Mumbo record together, we just start nattering away for ages. And to be fair, when we do some more collaborations in the future, they would probably just be long episodes. So I'd like to know if you like those. So leave a vote on the poll. Thank you as always for voting, and we will continue doing one of these each of our episodes. So some areas of the base feel a little bit gloomy now, and that's because we got this above our heads. Oh, let's check it's all grown into grass actually. That was pretty quick. It wasn't long ago that I replanted this. We're going to need loads of grass now, and a load of other materials as well. And actually, my inventory is pretty full up. Let's do that in a moment. Let's talk about what's going on above my head. We've got loads of stone bricks everywhere, and I wouldn't be too alarmed. You're not going to see lots of these. So there is now a second ring of stair blocks going around, which looks really cool. Over there, though, there's a little bit of a hiccup, and I think there's another one there I need to go fix. But that's going to be all of the stone bricks for now. We don't want too much grey. We don't want to overload it. And the space between that and this down here will be decorated, and some interesting things will be thrown in there. Some colourful blocks, you know, something to break up the grey. And I think that's going to end up looking really cool. Now, you're not going to see all of these slabs that I've placed in, because that's where we start to get into the parts of the base that, you know, you don't really see too often. Like this back bit here is all stair blocks as well, but this is part of our maintenance area. Let's call it that. Like that over there, eventually there'll be a door so you can walk out the back and check out all the redstone, but that's going to be like hidden from view and a sort of area that's not really well looked after, so we don't have to worry about little problems like that. We've got another one over there as well with the hoppers. They go right through where the slabs are, but again, all the redstone-y stuff is going to happen on the backside here, and the view of this from over here is never really going to be a problem. So let's talk about what blocks we're going to be placing down up here. You know there's going to be grass because that's the main colour and that's the kind of theme. We've got our ring of green going on here. And then we're going to throw in a few other colours as well. One of those will be this green concrete powder, which I've got to say just looks gorgeous in here. I think this is going to look very nice. And we're going to spread it out like that, have little strands and veins sort of going through at random seemingly. And then we've also got the lime concrete powder. What do you think of this? Yep, I'm not a fan. It's way too bright. Oh, I tell you what, a little duller and that would have been quite nice. But it's too saturated, isn't it? Too much for us. So I was thinking about what other colours we could use up here. We've also got these equivalents in wool as well. And you can see the lime here looks a little bit duller. And I think you could almost get away with that, but it's still a bit too much for me. So it's probably the green wool that we're going to go with. I could have swore I picked up a stack of this stuff. I did. So there we go. And that's a little bit too dark maybe. I think what we'll do, will be wise to do this, is put these ones next to those, right? And that'll help them blend in a little bit. So we'll have these little veins of that going through and a couple of blobs of this stuff off of the side of it, and that should help it blend. I like this. We've got to get a balance right though. I feel like this might be too much for one space. So I'll play around with it, see what I can do. Well, I'm out of grass, so I guess the rest can spread its way through here slowly over time. And I feel a little sad at the moment because I realised that would have been a great opportunity for a time-lapse up in the sky looking down on us, placing all the blocks and seeing this thing slowly unravel. But unfortunately it's not going to be the case and we're almost done now. You can see I put in everything but the grass and we've only got this dirt left to go. So we're done with this for now, and you're probably thinking, it's just a big old green circle, it'll come to life over time. What we're going to do is build a whole bunch of things around the edge of this circle, mementos and things like that we can come up and check out from time to time. And so everything that you see like looking outwards from this circle will eventually have like a wall or something in front of it, so it won't just drop off down into nowhere. Now, we've got one more thing to do. Oh, I've still got some more dirt to place. Over on that side, of course, we have the derp counter. And when I built it with Mumbo, I did say it's so likely that I'm going to rebuild this. And now that I've actually had time to come over here and plan all of this, you can see that it was, in fact, not in the best of positions. So we will move this back, and one of our first things to go around outside of the circle will be the derp counter, and we'll give it a nice little exterior and all of that stuff as well. But as of right now, we're actually going to move on to another project, a new project, an idea that I had that I think could just be really, really clever. So I'm going to sort out my inventory, gather some materials and stuff. We're going to head underground and I'll show you what this is all about. So I know exactly where I am right now, and you know kind of where I am, but in relation to which direction is what, I know what it's like watching videos. It can be a little disorientating. So this side over on the right is where the neutral flag is. That side is where the tree farm was. Over there's our sorting system. And then this side behind all of what we built up there, all the way over into the mushroom biome along the edge, there's like this little cove of water that comes in that to me suggests that we could do some landscaping around it in the future. And we can use the fact that there is an ocean there to our advantage, because just around the corner the other day, look at what I found, a skeleton spawner. Okay, so that's nothing fancy. We've already got a double skeleton spawner. Nothing particularly special in the loot. Well, actually, the fact that there's 2 discs here in one chest is kind of ominous, because we're going to do something that'll get us some more of these records, okay? So we got the skeletons from this bit. The other thing that we need is creepers, and we need these skeletons to shoot the creepers and kill them. Now, to be fair, I haven't thought this through a lot, and as I said that out loud right there, I kind of realised, okay, that we need to bring the creepers' health down, and that might be a little bit challenging. Otherwise, depending on how we set this thing up, they might explode. But that's not what I wanted to do right now. I wanted to put a torch, and as a result, I've knocked one of the torches out. We're going to press F3, and we're going to check out what biome we're at. So we're in the Mushroom Island shore. That should mean we're very close to being outside of the mushroom area. Let's keep walking forward. That is extending along. There we go. A little bit further than I thought it would do. So the ocean starts right here. Now the ocean biome is important because if I don't light up this area here, it means mobs are going to be able to spawn on it. Okay, that's not a big deal. That's not a big deal at all. Although it is for us because we can, of course, force creepers to spawn down here. When I say force, what I mean is condition it so only creepers will be able to spawn in this space. And if you haven't seen this trick before, props still Il Mango. He's always sharing and discovering tons of amazing stuff. Now, due to the height of a creeper, they will actually be able to spawn in this space where other mobs won't. And the other creature that can spawn in that place is the spider. So let's just break this back a little bit further. We've gone out of range of the beacon, which is a little bit unfortunate. I was hoping it would stretch all the way over here to make our lives easier. So I think that a spider will be able to spawn in this space here. I can't remember if they need a 2x2. I think it's actually a 3x3. And if there is like a ledge like this, they would be able to spawn in the middle of it. So let's say that's where the spider decides to spawn. I believe it's going to look over the edge here and nothing is going to invalidate it. So in order for us to actually be able to spawn these creepers and creepers only, we need blocks along the back here. Right, so we're going to end up with basically one wide spawning spaces with trapdoors above them. Then in front of them we need trapdoors as well, like this. And then we need another set of trapdoors to trick the creepers into thinking they can walk across. And then this space is probably going to be another spawning platform. Now, to me that looks kind of inefficient at the moment. There's going to be a lot of wasted space, but in theory the creepers would spawn here if it's dark. They could walk over the edge, and down there we would put some water streams, right? And then we can collect the creepers and bring them all the way over to us using water streams. And that's where we're going to be spawning the skeletons and tricking them into shooting the creepers. And with that being said, I've kind of realized that's going to be quite the process to figure out how we do that. We're just getting the basics started today, and I want to come up the top here and show you what the location I'm talking about is and why I've picked this location. A lot of it is to do with location as it goes. Locations are important in this game, especially when you're doing mob farms. So just around here there is like a indent of water that comes in a little bit. In fact, it is literally this bit right here. And so what I see is like a circular shape where our farm could be located all the way down at the bottom. And then what we can do is extend the land across the front of it. So we make our own artificial part of the island, and then behind it is this little thing right here. So I'm thinking about draining all of the water out of it and then digging away all of the ground so there is a pit going down. That'll be our second pit that we've dug. And then it means that the mob farm is very low down in the world and there's not a lot of blocks above it, which means the rates are very fast. But there is another reason I picked this location as well. It's because the water is relatively close to where our base is, and it's quite close to where that skeleton spawner as well. So that's important because when we're standing here, there's this whole area underneath the ocean where mobs can spawn, where we haven't gone caving yet. And if we go further back towards the skeleton spawner, then less and less of that area is able to have mobs spawn in it. And further still, if we were to actually go further back in towards our base, then less of that area is loaded. So we're probably going to find that the place where we stand, the player goes, will be somewhere over in this direction, just enough to load that. And then it means that these creepers over here should spawn relatively quickly. Now there is a greater chance that they could despawn, but also they're going to spawn quickly once we remove all the blocks above. So I'm quite confident that this is a great idea. And if you're wondering what's up with the torches, well, if I press F3 you can see ocean biome, and then you can see the island shore. So that's the idea. I've gone round and I've jotted out where the edge is. So our farm will cover a lot of this area, and then it kind of cuts off and opens up over there. So what I think we should do now is a little bit of landscaping on the surface and bring something sort of across that gap right there, just up on the surface where the water is. This probably looks pretty reasonable from up above, which I haven't seen it from just yet. And I brought some torches with me. Good thing that it started to turn to night. It's not great for recording videos, but it reminded me that I needed to light this all up because this is where mobs can spawn. And yes, I made a little border here and it's made out of dirt, and that's because whatever we're going to do for this outside area, we're not going to have mycelium, but I don't want the mycelium to spread across this because that would be a pain then to remove it all again, right? So I'm just filling in the last of it, but this is the shape that I've gone for. And I'm thinking what we're going to do is drain this. Maybe. I don't know how long it will take. We'll think about it. But I thought that I'd go back to the ocean monument because I spent some time exploring it, but I don't think I've maybe covered all of it. And I'd like to have another shot, and fingers crossed maybe there's another sponge room over there. Because if we're going to drain this thing, of course sponges are going to make it a lot easier. So many thoughts are racing through my mind right now. My first thought was let's put a boat on top of this and ride it over here and yeah, this is probably not going to be the world's greatest amount of fun, but hey, we did that. And it also got me thinking about how many projects have I got going on at the moment, and I'm starting new ones all of the time. And this water's probably going to stay here for some time until I come over here and finish covering the rest of this island, which reminded me about the sheephead project, which I haven't done for an episode or two now. So there's all this stuff going on, and it made me wonder, do you guys like the way things are going? Just leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about, episodes being started one project and finished another. At the moment, I'm very much just following my inspiration, and I feel like doing that makes this game so much more fun. And the same could be said of Fullcraft as well, actually. I've really been enjoying just playing Fullcraft one day and then coming on here and playing some vanilla the next day. It has been a lot of fun. But right now I need to focus and concentrate for a second. Let's breathe our potions. I should have done this a second ago. And let's dismount. And you can drink while dismounting, and there's no mining fatigue, so I can drop down straight into here. Right, excellent, we made it safe and sound, and now I can start to explore this thing again. Do I remember where I went before? Not at all, really, not at all. But I do want to say, Fullcraft, if you watched it earlier, there were a lot of people watching in the beginning, and not so much anymore, which is fine. It's modded Minecraft. I can be a little bit infuriating to watch because I'm a newbie, but please do give it a second chance if you saw it earlier on, because things lately have really gotten into a groove for me. I figured out lots of things with my power system and sorting out items, and now there are just loads of creative projects going on and ideas going through my mind, and I've been feeling like I've been very much enjoying that series as much as I have been my vanilla Minecraft. Okay, so I got those thoughts out of my head, and that's good because now things are starting to get a little bit hairy around here. There are lots of guardians, aren't there? Right, I got to be extra cautious as we search for this sponge room. Come here, you. Come here. Oh! Oh! Oh, wow, that's it. Well, that was a spot of luck. Man, okay, right, sorry, I've been doing this for a long time, looking around. Finally, a sponge room. Excellent, excellent. So what we want to do is stand above water so we can mine this stuff nice and fast. Excellent. Right, there's nothing else for me to say, is there? I'll grab all this stuff and we'll get back to our project. From up here, it is actually quite circular. Not perfect, but it does look a tiny bit artificial. Oh, that'll all change. That'll all change with time. So, one of the things I want to do in the future, and one of the things we're going to do, let's talk about what we're going to do right now. I got this nice shulker box here, dyed yellow, full of sand. Perfect. Hopefully this will be enough. We're going to drop this in around the edges here like so. Something I've done a lot of in the past with my several ocean monument projects. But anyway, what we could do in the future once we've drained this, I was thinking, is make it a feature. Make it like a crazy hole that goes down into the ground. And I was thinking we could possibly cover it up with like some black glass and make it look a little bit volcanic. And then we can put some structures and signs around the outside saying danger, do not enter. And then it would be like this abysmal pit down into the ground. And that would be a great way to combine this right here, because it's going to look ugly unless we do something special with it, but we do need to remove all of these blocks so that we can get those faster spawn rates. So my fate right now is simply to drop in tons of sand and then we'll take it from there. You know, a rather amusing thought just crossed my mind. I'm thinking, oh, I don't want to do another trip back over to the desert and mine loads of sand, right? And then I'm bobbing up and down in the water, and what do I see below me? Can you guess it? What's the other thing that we could use? I don't know why. I'm sure this would have helped me in the past before, but we can also use gravel. There's loads of it down here. And I always instinctively use sand over here. But anyway, we're going to be fine. I got loads of gravel if we do need it. Bam. Like that. And then I think for these grids over here that are 5x5, the way to do this is to... I'm not sure if you're supposed to go in at the same level, or just like that at the top level, and bam, it clears out a 5x5 area. That doesn't look terribly efficient, does it? But it is kind of reliable is the idea, I think, with exception to those corners. So you'd actually have to place one at every single level. However, then it will pop down to the next level below that. So we can mess around with this and just find out what's actually efficient. Oh no, it hasn't. No, that's below where the sponge is. Okay, so with a 5x5 area, if I go straight downwards with the sponges like this, it should get rid of everything. And it hasn't. It missed something up the top. However, notice how some of these are actually regular sponges. So I think it means it missed them. Anyway, with this water, I can swim back up to the top. I can't jump out of there, so... Oh, I don't have a shovel on me. That's ridiculous when using sand. Well, that didn't work. However, the sponges that aren't wet are at the same level as the water each time. So maybe we placed them too quickly. Will this one be suitable for the test? Probably not, because it's not technically a 5x5 chamber. So we'll try that again in a bit. I'm just going to continue clearing all of this out, getting our sand back, and then we can try that experiment once more. I should mention that I saw it somewhere that you're supposed to make 5x5 holes and put the sponge in the middle. Maybe I'm remembering it wrong. But anyway, if we put it in the corner, it spreads out a little bit. Then you can chuck one down there. I don't know what the best method for this stuff is. Someone should have figured it out by now, and that someone probably should have been me, with all of the ocean monuments that I've cleared out. Anyway, one good way of doing it is going side to side like this, then stand on this one, and actually I can't really place it over there. Nah, it's just going to be a jumble really, isn't it? So in the time I've spent doing that, it looks like the mycelium has spread down wherever it can. It's got a little way to go over there, but we want to get rid of all that yucky stuff. And there is actually a torch down there that's been deliberately placed. That is actually a marker to represent the corner of the farm. So although the border is kind of going all over the place, you know, where the biome changes, we're going to make a square shape that encompasses a lot of that. And that is going to be the border of it. So now I kind of want to mark out where the biome changes are and where we're going to be able to dig down, because in those areas where it is the biome that the mobs can't spawn in, the mushroom one, we don't need to dig down to get the faster spawn rates. So it's all about figuring out where that border is, and there you go, straight away we found a little bit of it. So I actually could have left that alone. So you can see it a little bit now. There's kind of a border, and that's the border between the mushroom island and where our mobs are going to spawn. And that's also going to tell us where we can do some landscaping and terraforming, you know, changing how this area looks. But I'm going to leave it there for now because I feel like I need a beacon to make this actually visible. And we've spent a ton of time over here doing some grindy stuff for a really cool project. We smelted up, they are. Excellent. We're going to take this back with us. I do like me shulker boxes. Makes carrying things around so much easier. Anyway, there's another thing we're going to do this episode. Last episode we built the derp counter with Mumbo, and I've sort of half torn that thing apart where I've been building my giant circle of green. And what a perfect ender pearl throw. Don't mind if I do, I say that was pretty fancy. But yeah, we need to rebuild this thing, and I think it's actually all intact. I did remove some of the redstone, but all the parts are here. We're basically going to rebuild it back behind where it actually is. It's kind of perfect that it happens to be here, as it's going to make rebuilding it just fine. Well, that was nice and easy. Very straightforward rebuilding, and I don't think I modified any of Mumbo's circuit here. It's very compact and simple to build. The only thing that I did change was this piece of redstone wire at the front coming out to the side here, and that means that when we place our button, it can be in the very middle, which is much more satisfying. Bam, there it is. So when it comes to aesthetics, the colour theme for this top area is green, and so we're going to use some green blocks. And what I'm going to do is actually use the same shape that I built over at Mumbo's area for his one. If you saw the last episode, you'll know what it looked like, and I found that that building was very, very nice, and we're going to take the shape, but just change up some of the materials that we use. So one of them is going to be this green hardened clay, and then on the front we're going to have some slabs again. So if you didn't see the build, well, do you know what? In a second it's all going to be done. But hey, I've run out of the slabs that we need as well, so I need to craft a couple of more. We're going to use these lighter slabs like this, and they're going to go there, and then the next one's going to start a little bit higher. And then we'll put another block which I haven't got in my inventory. These ones are going to go in between. So let's get blah 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 blah. Please forgive me, it's early in the morning. And that was a spectacular fail. No more ender pearl tricks for me. This thing looks pretty spectacular, I reckon. But I kind of feel like it needs more going on around it. It needs to be a little bit more embedded. Yeah, it's pretty ominous looking, isn't it? But I feel like as more of this area develops around here, it will start to fit in really well. And that's the same for a lot of this stuff. As we build it up more and more, it makes more and more sense, which is a good sign, really. And you know what we got to do now? We got to start counting those derps. And a viewer and patron of mine by the name of Spangleboo has actually been keeping track episode to episode of the derps that I've made and the spoons that Mumbo has as well. So Mumbo is currently on 3 spoons, I'm on 4 derps, and I've actually got to add a 5th one. I have a confession. If you watched the last episode, you would have noticed that the links that pop up at the end of the video, they were like halfway through, or not even halfway, they were like 20 minutes in, and that's because I forgot to move them on the timeline all the way back. So there's my 4. Oh no, we're up to 2 out of 10 already, and now I've got to add my 5th. Jeez, that is slightly alarming, isn't it? Well, people, I've got a very important meeting to attend, and Spangleboo, if you're watching, thanks for keeping count. It's time to fly into the sky and smack my face onto those leaf blocks. I had a feeling that might happen, because they were right in front of me. Let's check out the view of this from up above, looking pretty cool, right? Peeps, if you've enjoyed the episode, leave a like, and don't forget to click on the cards, remember to leave a vote, and go check out the Full Craft series as well. Been doing some amazing stuff on there as well. Anyway, it's time for me to leave this place. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.